Фильм
Bell casting at Andrei Dyachkov's
на
foundry.
заводе Андрея Дьячкова.
In the centuries-long history of the Russian people, bells have become an important part of life. Not one church or one service got by without them. Along with the rebirth of spiritual life in Russia, the casting of bells was resumed, but this craft had to be reinvented. We are often asked about how we make bells. But before we take a look at the production process, let's just find out what a bell is. These are the bell's main parts. The crown is the top part, lower is the head, then the waist, and the widest part is the sound ring. A clapper is hung inside the bell. The thickest part of the walls, where the clapper hits the bell, is called the sound bow. A bell, as a particular musical instrument, needs to have an exactly calculated profile. Its sound will depend upon having proper proportions. The outer and inner profiles are determined by these calculations. Then, according to the calculations, two strickle boards are made that match each profile. According to ancient methods, the model is made from clay by repeatedly spinning these rotatable templates. So now we have two models. One of the inner profile, it is called the mold core, and one of the outer profile, which will then be decorated with wax designs. In our foundry, instead of a clay model, we use a preparated wooden model for the outer profile, as it can be used over and over. The model is decorated with three-dimensional inscriptions, icons, and ornamentation. They are made of melted wax, which is poured into polymer forms that perfectly reproduce bas-reliefs made by artists. After that, the decorated model is covered with a metal casting box. Then the space between the model and the casting box is filled with a mixture of sand and resin. When the mixture dries, the wooden model of the bell is taken out of the mold. But there is still wax in the mold that is melted out by fire. The mold itself is burning because of the flammable materials it is made of. The inner profile, the mold core, which mirrors the inner surface of the bell, is made from a different cold hardening mixture. The mold core is made in a reusable wooden frame. When the mirror image model is connected to the mold core, the bell is ready to be cast. Bell bronze is an alloy of copper and tin. Historically, the proportion of 80% copper to 20% tin with a 1 to 2% deviation has been used. Generally, if more tin is added, then the sound of the bell will be brighter, but it will be more fragile, while more copper will make the bell stronger but more dull. Copper is first to be melted, and then tin is added at the end just before casting the bell. During the melting, slag forms on the top of the alloy. It must be removed so that it doesn't get into the mold. Finally, everything is ready for the casting. This is the most crucial point. It takes several days to get things ready, but the casting lasts only a few minutes. The melted metal is not poured directly into the mold. An additional reservoir is used so the flow of metal will be even. This also prevents the remaining slag from getting into the mold. The pouring must be uniform and steady so that all the air is able to escape. If the process is disrupted, there will be defects, such as bubbles and abscesses, which will have a bad impact on the sound. The mold is filled with metal and now must cool for a few days. The outer mold and the mold core are broken to separate them from the newly cast bell. If there are no defects, then the bell is cleaned. Sandblasting is used to remove the burnt parts of the mixture of sand and resin and create a matte finish. Then burrs, excess metal on the joint with the mold and the funnel, are removed. Particular elements of the bell are also shined. All that remains is to hang the clapper that we make from steel and the bell will ring. This is how we make bells at Andrei Dyachkov's foundry.
На заводе Андрея Дьячкова.
Во имя Отца и Сына и Святаго Духа.